Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. Toss a coin to your Witcher. This is going to be my new Season 2 video. We got a big cast announcement for a bunch of new characters, a whole bunch of new Witchers, we found out who Vesemir is going to be, and we have our first look at Season 2 footage. They've been filming for a while now, so we'll break it all down. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's even a Witcher Netflix movie that's coming out later this year separately from Season 2 because Season 2 is delayed till next year. So we'll start with the casting announcement and then I'll break down the footage as we go along because some of the casting announcements go along with the new footage. Starting with a familiar one, we have Christopher Heju from Game of Thrones. He played Tormund Giantsbane. He's going to be playing Nivellen, the character from A Grain of Truth, one of the short stories during The Last Wish. They kind of did the Last Wish book, or at least some of that book, for the events of Season 1. The story that he's part of is a parable that's kind of like the Beauty and the Beast, where you have a man that turns into a beast. And as part of that storyline, he has a love interest that's called Verena. She's a monster too, but a very different kind of monster. She's a different type of vampire. She's a Bruxa. They're a very powerful type of vampire that take on the appearance of a dark-haired young human. Most of the time they are female, but their natural form is a large black bat with sharp fangs and claws. They're also one of the very few types of vampires within the world of The Witcher, like higher vampires that aren't affected by sunlight, so she can walk around in daylight just fine. Give me all your Tormund Giantsbane bear-loving jokes. If you never watched Game of Thrones, there was a long-running joke that they brought back every once in a while for that character where he kept bragging that he had actually slept with a real-life bear to survive because he had mistook her for one of his cubs, then started a relationship with it. So now Tormund Giantsbane, bear lover, turns into a creature that looks kind of like a bear, and we've come full circle. But when I say his book story is a lot like Beauty and the Beast, it's literally like Beauty and the Beast. And because it's a relatively short chapter within a book, I'm guessing Christopher Heju will only be in one episode. I don't expect him to show up a whole bunch during Season 2. Number 7, there are 3 new characters that are Witchers, not including Vesemir. So Cohen is the first one. He's a Witcher from the School of the Griffin. If you're not a big book reader or you haven't played the Witcher games, there are a couple different schools of Witchers. The School of the Wolf is the one at Kaer Morhen that Geralt grew up and was trained at. The School of the Griffin is just one of the other ones from a different part of the world. Cohen is one of the Witchers that's at the School of the Wolf when Geralt brings Ciri there for training. So he helps train her in sword combat. Lambert is the next one. He's one of the younger Witchers from the School of the Wolf. He's just there also while they're helping train Ciri. And then Eskel is actually a really special one. He's one of the Witchers that actually grew up with Geralt at the School of the Wolf and went through training with him and the Trial of the Grasses. So they've been friends for a long, long time. Number 6, they're doing Lydia van Bredervoort. She's a sorceress who works closely with Vilgefortz. She's kind of like his assistant in the books. I'll talk about Vilgefortz in a second too, because he's obviously a very big character in the next couple of seasons. Kind of tangentially during Blood of Elves, which is kind of the storyline that they're doing for the events of Season 2, but they change a lot of stuff from the book, so I'm expecting to see Vilgefortz on screen a lot more than he did appear during that book. Number 5 is Francesca Findabair. She's just a really powerful elven sorceress. We kind of met the elves a little bit during Season 1, but they're going to be much bigger during Season 2. The books describe her as the most beautiful woman in the world, but she's really tall, really smart, and a super powerful sorceress, and is part of this special guerrilla fighting force of elves. There is a lot of stuff that happens to her later in the story. I don't know if they're going to do it, so I won't talk about it too much, but she gets tied up with Emperor Emhyr as he sort of tries to pull the strings and orchestrate events on a much more global scale on the continent. Number 4, this is actually a bit of a WTF. They haven't announced Rience yet, who's the main antagonist of Blood of Elves for the most part. He's another mage that works with Vilgefortz, but it's possible that they just combined his character with Caer's character because in the books, their mission is pretty much exactly the same. They're trying to capture Ciri and bring her back. It's just that Caer is working for Emperor Emhyr and Rience is working for Vilgefortz. If they don't include him though, they'll have to include some other main antagonists. So either it's him or they're going to up Caer and he'll be more of a threat during Season 2. Number 3, big WTF, they finally confirmed Vesemir for Season 2. I mean, they'd have to include him because he's critical to the story that they're going to be doing next. It's just that everyone was holding out hope for Mark Hamill after Mark Hamill was like, I have no idea who this is, but I should definitely play this character. Then the Witcher Netflix showrunner seemed like she was going to reach out to him. So for whatever reason, I guess that casting didn't work out. Mark Hamill is not going to be playing Vesemir. I'm assuming just a scheduling conflict because he's usually down for stuff like this. The person that's going to be playing Vesemir is actually Kim Bodnia from Killing Eve. He's actually a pretty good character, and that series is actually really good, so I'm excited to see what he does with the version of the character. Vesemir is still a badass, but he's developed a little bit more of a sense of humor with age. He's much wiser. He's kind of a father figure to Geralt. He's featured prominently through The Witcher 3, if you played that game recently, and he's a huge character in the books. But if you played the games, then you know that Vesemir is a big part of Witcher 3, and the games take place after the timeline of the books, after the books end. So I'm assuming that however many more seasons the Witcher Netflix series runs, Vesemir will be a part of the show. Because they did all the Geralt flashbacks to his childhood when his mother left him at Kaer Morhen, I don't know if they have any plans to do flashbacks for a young version of Vesemir when he was training Geralt, or if they might just de-age this actor here. If you're not a big fan of the Witcher 3 video game, or you never played the game, there's a giant cutscene right at the beginning when you start that game of a flashback to Kaer Morhen when Geralt is training Ciri. It's a memory that Geralt is having that's a little unreliable because some of the characters like Triss aren't in the memory, but she was there while this was happening, while they were training Ciri. But this is basically what they're going to be doing at the beginning of Season 2.
Guess she prefers practice to theory.
What?
Time to wake up, Master. These lessons so boring they put you to sleep too?
Damn it. After taking notes on ghouls and owl-ghouls, wanted to rest my eyes a bit.
Making her slog through that brick? No wonder she took off.
There's a bunch of stuff that happens after this where Geralt has this vision of the Wild Hunt coming in. That's all getting mixed up in his memories and the stuff that's happening in present day. So don't worry about the Wild Hunt too much during The Witcher Season 2. There might be some Easter eggs and references to them, but for the most part, just the Ciri training stuff is what they're going to be doing when they get to Kaer Morhen. The Witcher Netflix production will actually be filming at Kaer Morhen with Ciri, Geralt, and Vesemir, the other Witchers, in the next couple of weeks, so we'll actually get some footage of that really soon too. In number 1 WTF, right now they're currently filming the aftermath of the Battle of Sodden Hill from The Witcher Episode 8 finale. You'll be really happy to know that the production designer, the person that does all the costumes, said that they're going to be changing the Nilfgaardian armor completely at some point during Season 2. The reason why it looks the same in these battle scenes here is because Season 2 Episode 1 will pick up immediately after the end of Season 1 Episode 8, so you just need to have some of the original armor for continuity's sake. There's a fun Easter egg here too in our first look at Yennefer and Fringilla from Season 2. So they've both been captured by the elves. You'll recognize this elf. He's the one that captured Geralt and Jaskier. That was the episode at the end of which Jaskier came up with the song Toss a Coin to Your Witcher and started singing it as they were walking away.
That's not how it happened. Where's your newfound respect?
Respect doesn't make history.
Toss a coin to your witcher, O Valley of Plenty.
So based on this first look teaser here, it just sounds like the elves are going to be a much bigger force during Season 2. This isn't an exact scene from the books, so obviously I'm expecting them to change some of what happened around the Battle of Sodden Hill. If this isn't a completely different battle that they're filming for these scenes, then I'm assuming that they're just going to say that the TV show version of the elves were more active participants in the Battle of Sodden Hill. If you're a big Vesemir fan, you'll also be happy to know that the Witcher Netflix movie that's coming out later this year was confirmed to be The Nightmare of the Wolf. They said that's actually going to be about Vesemir's backstory, not Geralt's. They haven't announced what the exact timeline of the movie is, so Geralt might show up as a little kid at the very end of that. But I think the whole idea is just to explain who Vesemir's character is in a way that they did not in the books.
I'm very sorry, Uncle Vesemir.
Young blood craves action, I understand that. But when you fight a beast, knowledge counts as much as your silver sword. At the very least, you ought to be able to tell a ghoul from an owl-ghoul. Still, you should have asked if...
But you were asleep, Uncle Vesemir.
But everyone post your reaction in the comments below. What are you most excited for in The Witcher Netflix Season 2? If they drop any more teasers or any more footage, I will totally do a video about it, but leave all your requests in the comments below. If you have any big questions about The Witcher you want me to do a video about. Speaking of Geralt, Henry Cavill, you probably saw the internet going crazy the past couple of days about Henry Cavill supposedly, quote-unquote, playing the new Wolverine for the Marvel movies. You can click here to learn about what's really going on and what that craziness was all about, and click here for all my Witcher Netflix Season 2 videos. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay awesome. Toss a coin to your Witcher.